Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans. Welcome to the bunker. It's time for another voicemail. Today's voicemail is from a caller named Sam. Let's listen to what Sam has to say.
Hi, my name is Sam. I'm a huge fan of the channel and I love the work you do. My question's pretty straightforward. So, for some background, I did not grow up a Jehovah's Witness. I've never been a Jehovah's Witness, but I have been like mainstream Protestant. I'm not religious now, and I'm in my mid 20s. But I work as an English tutor, and one of my students, a sixth grader, is a Jehovah's Witness, and her family's pretty strict. Um, from the vibe of the family, it doesn't seem like their daughter interacts with a lot of non Jehovah's Witnesses. I could be wrong, but that's just what it seems like. Um, and recently, she has started to ask me more secular questions, I guess, or like questions doubting her faith. And I'm not really sure where the line is for me to talk to her about these things. As she is only like 12, I don't want to get her in trouble with her family. And I'm not really sure, as an English tutor, if it would be appropriate. But at the same time, I don't want to shut down her questions. I want to give her the option of knowing something outside of it. So I guess that's my question, where the line is. So thank you, and I hope you have a good day. Feel free to use it in the video if you want. Bye.
That is a very interesting question. Wow. Well, that's a toughie. And I guess the short answer is that there isn't really much you can do because you are a teacher. You're there to teach, I think, English. You said you're an English tutor. As heartbreaking as this situation is, I mean, we have here a young person who is being raised in a cult and at the age of 12 seems to be at least conscious of the fact that it's a cult or that they don't agree with the teachings, and yet their parents are raising them in this and will insist on them following in this course of pursuing the religion and pursuing a life in the religion. And you are apparently, or could be, the only outlet for any kind of critical thinking that this person has. But you're the teacher. You're not a friend of the family. You're not a relative. You're not a parent. It would frankly be unethical for you as an English teacher. And I don't know what all the rules are, by the way, locally regarding teachers, but I would imagine it would be extremely unethical for you to attempt anything even approaching an intervention in this situation, because it's just not your job to do that. Now, where the lines get blurred a little bit is when you are being spoken to as a friend, because I would imagine it's slightly different when you're a tutor and you're going to people's homes. I would imagine, there's plenty of scope for friendships to develop, not just with children, but with the parents. And it seems in that context, because I can't see why your pupil would be approaching you with questions about the faith if you're there to teach English. So it seems as though these conversations are happening in the context of incidental friendship that is blossoming as a result of familiarity, as a result of these frequent trips to teach. Again, just be very careful, very careful. I would make sure that any kind of information you convey is done in a very carefully worded way so that you can't be accused at any point of trying to subvert this girl's faith. I mean, what teachers can do, and what I wish more teachers would do, quite frankly, is teach children critical thinking skills. You don't have to single out any religion or ideology in order to teach critical thinking skills. You simply have to say, look, there's all sorts of ideas floating around. Some are true, some are not true. Some are just conspiracy theories. The way we figure out whether something is true or not is by subjecting it to inquiry, by making sure it meets certain burdens of proof, by making sure there's evidence. And when there's evidence to support an idea, that's when it becomes a fact. So, those are basic things, but I'm not sure that any of that is the remit of an English tutor, So again, I think that there are ethics here. Maybe even call the ethics board. That's probably what I would do in your situation. Maybe they would have some advice for you. I don't know how accessible they are over these sorts of issues. I don't know whether you worry about your career if you were to even ask about these things. But maybe they will have some kind of helpline or something for teachers or tutors in your situation. If there is a possibility when these conversations come up or when these conversations arise to just give generic advice on critical thinking skills, even though you're there as an English tutor, and as long as that's ethically responsible according to the rules that govern your profession, then great, do that. Otherwise, I would suggest that your hands are tied, quite frankly. This girl is in a very, very difficult situation. I don't envy her one bit. But what can you do? When she becomes an adult, that's when, you can talk more freely. But while she's a minor and while you're there to teach her, there's just only so much that you can do. One thing that you could do, once you've exhausted finding out what your limits are with the ethics board, perhaps, is suggest literature that touches on critical thinking or touches on cult themes. For example, you're there to teach English. Why not study George Orwell's 1984? Why not study works of fiction that will, at least in some way, give your pupil the mental software or the mental tools to grasp what's happening to them when the time is right or when they're old enough to do something about the situation they're in. As an English tutor, you're not there to de-indoctrinate or debrief someone who's being indoctrinated into a cult. You're there to teach English, but I don't see anything wrong in pointing them in the direction of works of literature that explore cult themes and incidentally give people in this situation the tools to more easily think for themselves when they are in a position to do so. If all else fails, I guess that would be my advice. Choose some works of literature that highlight cult themes and highlight the need for critical thinking and resisting authoritarian, totalitarian groups and organizations. 1984 is the standout one for me, but I'm sure my viewers will come to the rescue and drop many more suggestions in the comments below. What works of fiction might this English tutor use to help this 12-year-old girl develop critical thinking skills and understand the situation that she is in. So there you go, viewers to the rescue. I'm summoning the cavalry. But that's, I suppose, all I have to say on this one. And again, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult situation. But I do think it's one of those situations where ethically you do have your hands tied and you need to stick to whatever the rules are governing your profession locally. But that's all I have to say on this particular voicemail. If you would like to leave a voicemail, the thing to do is visit speakpipe.com/Cedars, indicating clearly if you don't want me to feature your message on my YouTube channel. But that's all I have time for. Don't forget to subscribe to the Lloyd Evans channel for more such videos. And as always, thank you for watching.